The baseball team finishes the season above 500, but is unable to make the CCIW tournament in a tight conference race. We wrap up their 2012 campaign on this week's Cardinal Report, starting now. Welcome to the Cardinal Report. I'm Marc Dahlquist. Joining me this week is assistant coach of the baseball team, Joe Heller. Coach, thanks for joining us.
Thanks, Mark.
So you guys can't get the win in the season finale, but it was nice to have senior days for you guys to honor those players that are graduating after this year.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, they deserved it, and that's the biggest thing. And unfortunately, senior day during the regular season got quite a bit of rain, and weren't able to play the game or do any of the senior festivity stuff that we like to do. Being able to come back and play that game, especially versus North Park, a conference team that feels a little bit of a fire, right, when we play them. It was good for our seniors. They deserved it.
You know, North Park was coming off a regular season CCIW championship, and they had won the tournament championship the day before. What kind of Viking team were you guys expecting to see in that game?
The same team as we usually do. They do a good job. They come out and play every single game, and it's baseball. You know, you're never going to just show up not to play. I know if teams are going to come out to play and play hard, and that's the way Coach Johnson does over there. You know, teaches his guys to play hard. So we expected the same thing out of our guys. You know, even though we knew we weren't in the mix of anything, but we expected to come out and play hard and try and win a ball game.
Well, the Cardinals weren't able to close out the season with the win, but they showed they would fight to the end. Let's go to the highlight. Joe Turek and the other seniors being honored alongside their parents as the team hopes to send them off in style against the CCIW regular season and tournament champions, the North Park Vikings. Sam Carius reached on an error to lead off the bottom half of the first, and Andrew Highland would send one up the middle with one out, and the speedy sophomore able to advance to third without a throw. That brings up Steve Flavick, who was able to knock Carius in on the fielder's choice, and the Cardinals strike first, leading 1-0 after an inning of play. The Vikings respond in their next at-bat, already up 2-1. Ryan Javek would double to the left side, and two more Vikings cross the plate as North Park takes a 4-1 lead. Now in the bottom of the fourth, Cardinals still trail 4-2. Alex Kozelinski would chip away at that, knocking in Highland on the fielder's choice. Then Zach Pakinowski would find the hole on the right side and tie the game at 4 runs apiece. But the Cardinals weren't done yet. Peter Romanello would send one deep to left center, and the seniors' triple off the wall brings in 2, and the Cards regain the lead. Nick Hammerl would cap off the inning, placing a bunt perfectly down the third baseline. He beats out the throw and extends the lead to 7-4. Connor Brown into pitch in the 7th with the Cardinals clinging to a 1-run lead. But Mike Caduto would put the Vikings back in front as he sends a breaking ball past the diving Turek at first, and 2 more runs cross the dish for North Park as they now lead 8-7. North Park would erupt in the top of the 9th, registering 8 runs on 7 hits. The conference champs give the Cardinals a tough hill to climb, taking a commanding 7-run lead into the bottom of the 9th. North Central was able to get 2 back in the bottom half, but Kozelinski would fly out to third for the last out with the bags loaded. The Cardinals close up the 2012 campaign, falling to North Park 16-9. Coach, how do you approach a game differently, you know, when the team knows it's going to be their last game of the season?
You just try and embrace it, you know, and really take advantage and kind of take it all in throughout the game and the process of the games and going through it. You know, I think, it's big for a senior to play on senior day. It's kind of a nice capstone to how everything kind of falls out, you know, the course of the year. And for our seniors approaching that game, it's just embracing it, you know, and taking it all in and really just, you know, giving it one last shot.
You don't want to say it's beneficial that you guys know it was your last game, but it gives you an opportunity to play all the seniors. Whereas if you guys were in a conference race, you really got to put the best players on the field. But with this game, every senior pitcher saw the mound and every senior player saw the field. How important was that?
Oh, it's very important, you know, and our seniors deserve that. And our guys, you know, throughout the year understand what they need to do to help our team be successful. And, you know, especially for a guy like Tyler Herman, who's normally a closer and kind of comes in when he can and does a little bit, you know, here or there. Him being able to start a game on senior day was really important. I know for us as a coaching staff, and I'm sure for him.
Yeah, it seemed like Tyler really embraced that role after being the closer the past 2 years.
Yeah.
To be able to start the game with the ball in his hand as a senior, it seemed like that was, one of the highlights of his career, even though he couldn't get the win.
Oh, absolutely, without a doubt. I mean, and going out there from the start, with your name being called, that's good to see for Tyler. He deserved that. He had a great career. So.
And the Cardinal offense was, doing quite well in that game. You guys get 12 hits, 9 runs, but that 9th inning by the Vikings just seemed to, really crush the spirits.
Yeah, really, a couple of hits here or there, and, one or two plays, falls our way. We're on the different side of that game, especially with a better 9th inning, and give our offense a chance to win that game.
What's the feeling like in the dugout, when you guys are so close, you're within 1 run, then all of a sudden they tally 8 runs, and what are you telling your team when they're going into the bottom half of that 9th inning, with their bats ready?
Well, you just got to maintain mentally tough, and you got to be able to be strong and understand that you're down, and it's going to be hard to battle back. But the biggest thing is not to change. Keep trying to do what you're doing. Keep
Right.
Focus on your approach. Focus on getting hits, getting base runners, and hopefully move guys around and to try and knock that lead down.
So even with the loss, the team finishes with a record above 500 for the season. But you guys go 9-12 in CCIW play. How tough was this conference this year?
Real tough. It was real tough and a lot different than normal. We see a lot of different things this year with teams like Elmhurst. Carthage being down was definitely a surprise throughout the conference. But the CCIW every year is going to be tough. And you can't approach a single game saying, oh, we're going to beat them. You're going to see everyone's number 1, number 2, and number 3 on a weekend. And every team can show up to play, and every team's going to. So it's really a matter of executing in between the lines and showing up for all 27 games.
Going into the final 2 conference series of the season, there were really 7 teams that had a chance to make this postseason. Have you ever been a part of you were a Cardinal player yourself, have you ever been a part of a conference race that was this tight down to the end?
Never like this, no. I mean, I think there was 4 teams all tied for first place with 2 weeks to go. And I'll still say I think we have one of the better teams in the conference. Obviously, numbers didn't show that this year, but I'd still stack my team up, against all the other teams. And same thing goes for Wheaton and teams like Carthage. You can't always count out all the time. So even, throughout the board, all those teams are all really good, and, just one of those crazy years.
And you look at this team, you say your team stacks up with the rest of the conference, and it showed that with all the conference losses, all but 3 were 2 runs or less. So that means really the Cardinals were in every game that they played in CCIW. Yeah,
and that's been the story of our year. It's just a big hit here, a big hit there. A little bit of execution early on in ball games. Give ourselves a chance to get some separation throughout the game is really what we lacked. And a couple of hits here or there, and the conference looks completely different. And that's baseball.
How is the team going to carry that into next season? Knowing that it was in every game and it wasn't, getting blown out every conference matchup, that they were right there.
Well, it's good for our guys, and it's good, and hopefully they use it as a learning experience, especially a lot of the younger guys who are coming back next year and understand what, maybe that two-out hit in the 4th inning, with a couple runners on, how much that might come up to benefit us, come the 8th or 9th inning, where, a 1-run game is now a 2-run game or a 3-run game or something like that, where, we got a much better chance with the back end of our bullpen. That's baseball, and those are the types of games we're going to play in the CCIW. It's going to be nothing different every single year. So, it's the way it is. That's how baseball is being played, and it's good baseball, and that's why we do, it's why I coach here in the CCIW. It's why our guys come out to play. It's to play in those close games, and getting that experience and understanding what it means to, maybe get a bunt down in the 4th inning, or, get that 2-out hit, here or there early on is going to help us towards the end of the ball game.
And it seemed there were a lot of players on the team getting experience this year. While you are saying goodbye to your seniors, there's a lot of young talent on this team that, saw the field a number of times this year. That should really help the Cardinals in the years to come. Oh,
without a doubt. I mean, we were starting, flipping around the lineup quite a bit this year, I think more than we wanted to, going in. A couple of injuries here or there. But, we did play some young kids, and we have a lot of young kids that we didn't even play that are ready to go. And that's the biggest thing is for us as a program, if we can bring kids in that are willing to work and kind of compete for a position,
right,
and try and make each other better, out there at practice and fall ball and winter ball and doing all that stuff to get us better as a team is what we want to do. And the more depth we can create and that kind of push to earn yourself a spot, is what we want to do from a philosophical standpoint. So getting those guys in and working hard and getting better every day and pushing each other is going to make us a better team.
Yeah, talking with some of the players after Sunday's game, they said that there are a lot of players on this team that were in backup roles that could be starting on other teams. How does that competition between players on your own team make you a better ball player?
Well, it makes everybody a better ball player. You know, you got one guy in, and you know, if somebody's not there to push him, he's not going to work that much harder to get better. And the more we can get, you know, that drive and that competition, that friendly competition within the team to make everybody better and to push everybody, you know, in the off season, you know, while you're hitting the cages, putting in the work, that's when guys get better, and that's when teams start to grow. And that's what we've started to create over the last couple of years, and I think we've done a pretty good job of it, and excited to see, you know, the results over the next couple of years.
You guys also bring in a couple transfer students in Sam Carius and Chris Singh, and they really contributed right away. What was their transition like to the Cardinal baseball team?
They transitioned great. I mean, they came in obviously a little bit familiar with the campus, being from the area.
Right.
They did a great job. You know, they fit in well with the guys, and they showed up and they bought into what we wanted to do. You know, they came up, they came in every day and worked hard, put in the work, you know, stuck their nose on it, like Coach Fitz likes to say, and really compete. And that was what we needed, you know, and that's what we like, you know, from all of our guys. So they're a huge addition.
Well, it was fun watching the Cardinals compete this year. Don't go anywhere, because after the break, we'll be joined by a Cardinal who has made quite an impact the last 4 years, and another who is hoping to lead the team back to the tournament in 2013. Keep it right here on the Cardinal Report.